Live from the Heartland Mamas studio, this is the Heartland Mamas podcast with your host, Heidi Henry. The Heartland Mamas podcast is available on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, as well as TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and more. Find us there and be sure to share. As of today, we have 343 days left to save the USA. 343 days out from the November 5th, 2024 election, where we will decide as a nation if we're to keep our democratic process or turn ourselves over to fascism. It is that important. All of this week, beginning today, candidates are going to the Illinois State Capitol and to Chicago to file so that you can choose to vote for them at the next election in March. I want you to choose your candidate carefully. I want you to volunteer, to be on their team, donate to them, do all you can to help get them elected. This is the most important election of our lives. And where we have said that frequently in the past, honest to God, this one's it. It's democracy or theocracy. That's our decision. Today's topic we're going to talk about is school vouchers. And school vouchers can be called a lot of different things: scholarship programs, tax credits. It can be called a number of different things to make it more palatable to the taxpayer. In 2017, we passed a bill in Illinois called Invest in Kids. It was under the previous governor, Governor Rauner. And the whole idea of Invest in Kids, which is a great phase, is to give up to $75 million of our taxpayer money to private, for-profit, and religious schools. So they're taking it right out of our pocket, paying it into the general fund, and then paying right out to for-profit schools. I want you to think about that, because this existed for years. And even though our state legislature just decided not to extend it past 2025, we will have given away hundreds of millions of dollars of our money to for-profit entities. This is not what we pay our taxes for. That's not what I pay my taxes for. And our property taxes are high because we invest greatly into our public schools. But make no mistake about it. Anything that's a voucher, anything that's called school choice, anything that's called a scholarship program is just another way to deceive the taxpayer for disinvestment into the public school system, and then diverting those funds into private and for-profit religious schools. Our public schools have failing buildings. They're understaffed. The teachers are underpaid. We have aging curriculum, crowded classrooms, crowded buses, constant fundraising for extracurriculars, and even fundraising to outfit a classroom. That's ludicrous. School choice, or whatever you want to call it, merely steals funds from our public schools and invests them in public or in private for-profit entities. When our public schools are slashed to the core to support these for-profit entities, our children suffer. Make no mistake about that. In the United States, we spend almost $1 trillion, $1 trillion on public education from kindergarten, pre-K through 12, through senior year in high school. Billionaires like Betsy DeVos have discovered that there is a lot of money to be made by terrorizing parents with other isms like LGBTQ+, like children with disabilities, children that are not white, immigrant children, children whose first language is not English. And then absolutely asinine claims about kitty litter in the bathrooms and pornography in the libraries. And let's not forget multi-gender bathrooms. All of this is just meant to scare students or scare their parents into making choices that put profit ahead of education. Even a 4-year-old mask mandate from a global pandemic was the cause of a rise in fear in our local public school systems. We were in a pandemic. Nobody knew what was going to happen. We only knew that we needed to cut transmission down. There are several goals with these vouchers or school choice or whatever you want to call them. The number one is always the money. These schools can make the money these schools can make by terrifying parents into believing that their children will be harmed by following a mask mandate, by going to school with children with disabilities, by attending school with children that identify as LGBTQ+, or reading books that might be more challenging subject matter than they're used to. Number two, it's plainly and simply another way to recreate segregation and keeping your child safe from someone that is not exactly like them. People of different faith, even different Christian faiths, because there's 177 different denominations in Illinois alone of Christian faith. People who look different than them, with different intellects, with different colors of skin and hair and abilities. They want to create a separate but unequal system of education in their schools with your money. Number three, it is the desire to create permanent education debt for 98% of Americans. Look at the money they've made through higher education debt. We are in a crisis right now with that. They know there is money to be made by saddling parents and children with permanent debt just for going to grade school or high school. Just sign these papers for your tuition, and then they own you and your kids and their future with a stroke of a pen. Our state legislature voted down Invest in Kids. Thank God. But keep a wary eye, because they are coming for your money. They are coming for our tax dollars again. They will call it by another name. They will make it sound more palatable. They will create new fears for parents to drive them away from their local neighborhood public schools, schools all of us have attended safely and wonderfully with wonderful memories throughout the decades. We all have a favorite public school teacher. We all have someone that influenced our life in a positive, wonderful way, someone we learned from. We watched Texas wrestle with the voucher system over and over again. It comes up in their state legislature repeatedly for years because Governor Abbott of Texas stands to make personal millions if the voucher system passes in Texas. But their bipartisan legislator, meaning Republicans, Democrats, and Independents working together, have refused to accept vouchers as a way of life in Texas, preserving public schools. They know that vouchers will devastate rural schools first, followed by deep cuts to urban schools. These will devastate their community. They should learn from what happened in Chicago under Mayor Rahm Emanuel, where he slashed public school budgets and closed 50 public schools and created charter and private schools with Chicago taxpayer dollars to fund them. This made children not be able to walk to their neighborhood school, but instead have to either pay to go to a charter school, pay to go to a private school, or take a long bus ride in order to just have an education. They should learn that disinvestment in children and community has scarred their neighborhoods forever. The evil vouchers can go both ways, but it can be put forward in many, many different terms. Because there is no federal guarantee to education, this measure will go state by state until the haves have it all and the have-nots are working for federal minimum wage all of their short, sick lives to serve the upper 2%. We gave away in Illinois over 350 taxpayer dollars, 350 million of our taxpayer dollars from 2017 to 2025 to this Invest in Kids scam. That is 100% unacceptable. That money we paid for is for public use. Instead, it was given away to private entities without any oversight on curriculum, teacher qualifications, no oversight on building safety, including fire safety, no oversight on student transportation, etc., etc., etc. Unacceptable for public tax dollars to go to that private use. End of discussion. We can't allow it, Illinois, to ever raise its ugly head again here in the land of Lincoln. But gird your loins. They want your money. They want to indoctrinate your children. They want to set the standard or the substandard for your child to rise to. Beware, be ready, and protect our public investment in our public schools. From the edge of the Great Red Divide, this is the Heartland Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Henry. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.